Hello, this is the second update for my N-gauge layout based on the Kent coast, Spearestone. There's quite a lot changed since the last update. All the track on the front now in the scenic section has been changed to Pico Code 55, which has a much nicer scale appearance. And if you compare it to the Code 80 in the fiddle yard, Code 80 looks a lot more chunky. Might be actually quite hard to see on this because I'm using my phone and it can be quite blurry. All the points are now wired up in the fiddle yard. I know I said in the last one I was probably going to use the surface mounted motors, but I did actually find 6 of these in a spare drawer, so it was a good result, saved a few quid. On the subject of the new surface mounted motors, I have actually had a fair bit of trouble with this one. I don't know if it's purely because it's N-gauge and it's meant for double O, but I'm sure it's sent on a packet suitable for N-gauge. The little loop on the side that attaches, I don't know what it's actually called, the little knobbly bit on the tie bar, it loops over and relies on that to catch it, pull it back and forth. Now, the actual action of this is quite hard, so when that triggers it can quite easily bounce off and over the N-gauge one. The motor will change but the point won't, and as this point is actually the main entrance to every lane on the fiddle yard, that was a gigantic pain in the arse. The way I cured it was I got a 0.3mm drill bit, drill through the little knobbly bit, for lack of a better word, put a track pin through a small square of plastic card, then used that to peg it and glued it together, so now that is rock solid and won't go anywhere. All the electrics underneath, all the wiring for the points and whatnot, I've all done with chop blocks. Now the reason for that is, should there ever be any sort of failure, whether a point motor or a switch or anything else, there's no soldering to do or unsolder. It's all, you know, just a couple of screws, swap the piece out and we're good to go. I've also started putting down a couple of loose scenic bits. I've got this ratio concrete trunk in there and just a lump of fence. Now, from the third rail will be some small wires running into the concrete trunking, and then that needs to come from somewhere itself. So up here, where this rectangle is, I'm going to put a small electrical substation in that will feed the third rail of power. All the points are electro frog, and I've had to wire these sections up individually, and I've locked it against the point switch, a handy little bar, so I can't put the power the wrong way. If I change the point, the power goes. It's pretty idiot proof, which is handy for me because I am Mr. Signalling Error. The head shunt here is completely dead. This point, there's no motor in it, it will never change. It's purely used as a goods loop for trains coming around that way. The actual head shunt itself, I'm just using, it's quite handy for displaying any kit built tank engines I've built. I've got sitting there at the moment the Gem Z-Class. It's a nice little white metal kit, really hefty beastie, one of my favourite engines of all time. It's sitting on a Faraday F chassis. It's very big, it's very noisy, but I love it to pieces. The black line at the back hopefully will be the footprint of the cliff. Now up this end I want a nice sharp steep incline, and then as it comes around along to the other end I want that to try and level out in a much more wider, gentler, sort of more hillside than cliff. And then coming off the back of the platform, I should be able to get a nice little footbridge and a walkway up the cliff to allow passengers to escape off the layout and not trapped within the scenic section like I've seen on some others. Yeah, someone asked me the other day on one of the forums how tight can you bend code 55 track. Now this piece here is first radius, so it will bend to that as long as you make sure there's cuts in the sleepers. If you make sure that's on the inside, it's fairly easy to do, and unlike code 80, once it has been bent, it generally tends to stay there a lot easier. Now I know a lot of people will say don't use first radius track, you know, and yes, they're right, it has got limitations, and as long as you know and understand them, it's fine. You're going to work within them. Now a lot of my stock will be like the 73, a Bobo electro diesel, a 71 electric multiple units, so they're not going to have any problem negotiating the first radius. That said, a lot of the larger engines like the Merchant Navies, the Battle of Britons, obviously I will keep on the outside one, which are second radius, and that won't cause a problem anywhere. Just to prove the old fiddle yard is working, stop the 73 there. Sent the boat train off. Yeah, shouldn't actually be going that way, but like I said, just a signalling error. Change that. Oh yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a lot else to say really. I'll just leave you with a couple of shots of trains running.